Happy New Year and welcome to FRCMedia News for Thursday, January 3rd, 2019. I'm Keith Tebow. Hope you had a great holiday season and we hope you have a great 2019. This week we have news on the date that has been set to decide whether voters wish to recall Mayor Jaziel Correa. We speak with the head of the Bristol County Chamber of Commerce about integrating services with its partners at the South Coast Chamber. And we also have some advice on how to stick to a New Year's resolution to eat better in 2019. First of all, let's talk about the news headlines of the week. We bring in Lynn Sullivan, the news editor at the Fall River Herald News. Lynn, Happy New Year. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you.
Let's get right into our top story, which is the update on the recall election of Mayor Jaziel Correa. 2 weeks ago, at our last weekly newscast, we talked about how the City Council had received the approval of the over 4,000 signatures to start the recall process. They gave Mayor Jaziel Correa 5 days to resign. Last Wednesday, the mayor officially came out to say that he would not be resigning. So last night, the City Council held a special meeting to move the process forward and set a date for the election. That date is March 12th, which is a Tuesday in a couple of months. And there was a lot going on at the council chambers last night. The council ended up voting 8-1 to move that process forward and to set that date. Of course, there was some deliberation about the process and what should happen. City Councilor Steve Camara, who had voted in the past not to even alert the mayor of the process and asking him to resign, was also looking last night to have Corporation Counsel Joe Macy address the City Council, as well as any of the other attorneys involved, the attorney representing the mayor and also an attorney representing the recallers. That motion failed by a 6-3 vote. Then when, just before the roll call on setting that date of March 12th, Councilor Camara had this to say about why he was going to vote no.
I could, in fact, object to this and just allow it to be delayed until the next council meeting. But I'm going to allow the majority to proceed, and I will vote no out of respect for what I think is a bad process. Not that I don't want to see this thing move forward, and the sooner the better. I'm glad that it's been amended to be on March 12th, because the sooner we get this over with, the better. But I do think that we are shortchanging our citizenry by not having full disclosure and full discussion of not only Corporation Counsel speaking to us, but also the Election Commission and its role in this process. And I know the chair of the Election Commission is here. I think it would be prudent also to have her as part of the discussion, because I think there are things within the Election Commission that may be jeopardizing this process from being absolutely legitimate and possibly subject to a court action that would possibly dismiss the whole process. I just think there are some serious dangers here, and by proceeding without due deliberation, I think is a disservice to the public, a disservice to the recallers, a disservice to the mayor, and it's a disservice to our government.
So that was Steve Camara, Lynn, talking about why he voted no last night to set that date. He feels there should be more information presented to the council and the public. Next, I guess, now this resolution goes to Mayor Correa himself. What are his options in the short term in terms of approving this, vetoing it? What's the timeline here for that?
It sounds like he has until Monday at 5 p.m. to decide if he's going to veto it. I thought it was interesting to note that, obviously we went through this not that long ago.
Sure.
And, Mayor Flanagan admitted he did not veto it. He felt like he had a moral obligation not to. And so it will be interesting to see what happens. I think I sort of lean on the side of, all right, we know that this is coming. Mm-hmm. Enough people in the city have signed that petition and said that this is what they want. It's we are following the process. So I think let's just do it instead of talking. I think people get very frustrated when they feel like there's delay. So let's just get going. I mean, it's a tight timeline,
Sure.
you know, between now and the election. It feels very short to me, but I don't know. That's just what I think.
Right. And, you know, the mayor, if he does veto it, then the city council has the opportunity, of course, to override that veto. If
Yep.
the vote is to hold true, 8 votes will be more than enough to override that veto.
Yep.
I know you've got Joe Good on the case on this. Has she approached the mayor's office asking whether the mayor has declared his intention on whether to veto or not at this point? Do we know?
I don't know. You may realize he isn't really talking to Joe right now.
Right, sure.
So, but yes, I mean, the city council will have 10 days to reconvene to overturn a veto if he chooses to veto. And if he chooses to do nothing with it, it just automatically goes into effect after 10 days. So.
Correct. So with the council's intentions to keep moving this forward, my speculation is that if the mayor were to veto this by Monday, that maybe the city council would try to again have a special meeting, even though I believe they have a regular meeting next week, maybe have a special meeting or I don't know if they can do it on their regular meeting on Tuesday, but they may need to hold a special meeting to move this forward in a more timely manner. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes through. Next steps now, if this continues, is of course the process. Candidates, for people who may not remember the recall of 4 years ago, there are 2 parts to the recall. First is a question asking the residents on whether they wish to recall Mayor Jazo Correa. If that is successful, then the second part of the election takes effect, which would in effect elect a new mayor of Fall River. Candidates who are seeking to be part of that second part of the process can actually start gaining nomination papers, I believe, Lynn, as soon as tomorrow, Friday. Is that correct?
Yep, 9 a.m. So, I mean, regardless of veto or not, I mean, it's starting tomorrow, which is kind of interesting. It'll be interesting to see who actually takes out papers. And, you know, and I know there's been a lot of speculation, and there's even been people, you know, coming flat out publicly saying they'll run like Kyle Riley.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how many people run. Last time I think it was 7 in the last recall, and you have to wonder, does that split up the vote?
Right. We'll have to wait and see. We had a chance earlier last week to speak with Election Commission Chairwoman Kelly Susie Young, and she gave us an update on now that the election date has been set, what would happen next?
I can get ready to set out nomination papers and start the whole election process that we do. We have a checklist of everything that we do to get ready for an election.
And that includes?
Sending out absentees, sending out absentee applications, which we do every year at the beginning of the year. So this will help actually our process along for the rest of the year. We also call the polling places, call the poll workers, see if they're both available, both the polling places and the poll workers for whatever date they set forth.
Now, obviously there's a lot going on. How's your office handling the stress of it all?
We're handling it, especially with the holiday. It was kind of even that stress on top of it, but we're dealing with it.
Kelly Susie Young, the Election Commission Chairwoman. Now, as we mentioned, candidates looking to run for mayor can begin picking up nomination papers tomorrow, Friday, January 4th. The last day to pick up nomination papers is the 21st, and all of these nomination signatures need to be in by January 23rd. But you said, Lynn, it's actually a very short process. And one thing that's interesting is, since the initiation of the new city charter a year ago, candidates now for mayor need to get 300 signatures. Is that correct? That was changed in the new charter.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, it just makes it a little harder. I think the intention was to just make people take this very, very seriously.
Right.
Another interesting thing that the charter changed is that on the recall ballot, should Mayor Correa choose to run, which he has said he would, his name won't necessarily be at the top of the ballot as the incumbent. The city charter changed that rule, so now candidates are placed on the ballot by lottery.
So that'll be a lottery for the list, and that, again, that second part of candidates who may be running for mayor. So there's a lot of moving pieces still on this, but the process is moving forward. One thing to note is that the election on March 12th will be a normal election in terms of the number of polling places are going to be the same, as well as the time of voting, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So that'll be like a normal election here in Fall River, and we'll continue to have more as we move forward. One other thing coming out of the City Council meeting on Wednesday night was the organization of the President and Vice President of the City Council, and to no one's surprise, Council President Cliff Ponte was reelected as another term as City Council President. Here's President Ponte getting sworn in last night and addressing the council afterwards.
I state your name.
I, Cliff Ponte,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially perform
I will faithfully and impartially perform
the duties of the office of City Council President
the duties of the office of City Council President
of the City of Fall River
of the City of Fall River
to the best of my ability and understanding,
to the best of my ability and understanding,
in accordance with the Constitution and laws
in accordance with the Constitution and laws
of the United States and of this Commonwealth,
of the United States and this Commonwealth,
and the ordinances of the City of Fall River,
and the ordinances of the City of Fall River.
so help me God.
So help me God. I just want to take the opportunity to thank my colleagues for the unanimous support to continue to serve this next year as your council president. It's an honor to sit in this chair and to serve with every single one of you, and I'm looking forward to a year that we can continue to strive collectively to improve this community. So thank you for your unanimous support.
City Council President Cliff Ponte being sworn in last night. Eventually, it was a unanimous 9-0 vote. However, in the initial round of voting, again, City Councilor Steve Camara actually voted for himself as council president, and soon thereafter, Pam Liberty LeBeau was elected as the vice president of the City Council for a second consecutive year. So that'll be the leadership of the City Council going forward. One other item I want to bring up this week, Lynn, unfortunately a tragic situation on New Year's Day, that fire in the far north end at the Four Winds Apartments, claiming 2 lives, the driver of a vehicle that drove into the building which sparked the fire, as well as the 75-year-old passenger. I believe, Lynn, there were, upwards of 80 people have been displaced. Anything in terms of the latest, in terms of what may have caused that accident to that car going into that building?
Yeah, well, that's really been our focus this week, and it'll certainly be our focus going through the weekend. There's just so many angles to follow up on this story. It's such a tragedy. But when you think about just the sheer scope of it, 80 people displaced. I mean, fires are never a good thing, obviously, but, you know, you don't ever hear of this many people displaced. So we need to really, look into where are they being placed? Where are they going? What do they need? Who? And just coordinating the efforts is interesting. And I know the city is involved, and different charitable organizations are involved. And I know that's one thing that you can say about Fall River is that when something terrible happens, people really want to reach out and help. And I mean, you just see it. Ever since the tragedy, people are like, okay, what can I do? What can I do? And I think just coordinating all of that has been, it's a big undertaking. And so, you know, we'll be talking to Sharon Furtado, the head of the Fall River Firefighters Wives Association, because I know she's even trying to organize a benefit, and just I know there's been some concern about different GoFundMes showing up, and whether or not the money is going to actually get to the victims of this fire.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I mean it's tough. I mean, anybody is allowed to set up a GoFundMe for their family or whatever, you know. And I think and I know from previously dealing with the firefighters' wives, I know one of the things that they say, you know, people want to give furniture and appliances and things. And I'm not saying that these people don't need that. They do. But just finding a place to get all of that collected, you know, those are big items. So, and then I think what they really need are money and gift cards and stuff like that. Because, you know, one of the families had said, you know, the Red Cross gave them $250, which is great, but she said, you know, we spent that on coats the first night. Because, you know, it's hard to imagine, and I mean, it's terrifying to imagine just having absolutely nothing, like no underwear, no toothpaste, no, you know, nothing. So
A lot of things we take
people
for
are
granted
starting
of what
to
we
work.
have. Yeah. So obviously
Yeah.
this will be something that'll be followed up on the paper over the next few days. Anything else
Yep.
you want to promote coming up?
Definitely. I mean, we're spoke with Swansea Selectman Chris Carrero. He presented his formal proposal for taking the mall by eminent domain. I know we had reported on that last week, but now we have more information. And obviously, like I said, the fire is our big focus for our Sunday piece. So.
All right, Lynn, thank you for joining us. We'll talk again soon. Take care.
Okay, thank you.
We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Hairstylist, Supercuts, located at 4171 North Main Street, is in need of a full-time hairstylist to shampoo, cut, and style hair to customers' needs. Job number 115-61156. Appliance Service Technician, Sears Roebuck & Company, located at 133 William S. Canning Boulevard, has an immediate need for a full-time appliance service technician to repair washer, dryers, gas, electric stoves, microwave ovens, dishwashers, trash compactors, garbage disposers, and other home appliances in the customers' homes. Job number 1155-2904. Dental Receptionist, Health First Family Care Center, located at 456 Rodman Street, is looking for a full-time dental receptionist responsible for the daily operation of registration for existing and new patients, patient information, co-payment collection, and insurance verification. Job number 115-58855. South Coast Health System, located at 363 Highland Avenue, is looking to fulfill the following full and part-time positions. Nurse Practitioner, job number 115-61105. Oncology Registered Nurse, job number 115-62398. Clinical Technician, job number 115-61106. Registered Nurse, job number 115-61630. For more information on these or other positions, visit masshiredjobquest.detma.org or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. Officials from the Bristol County and South Coast Chambers of Commerce have formed a task force to explore options on how the two organizations can work more closely together in order to better serve their respective memberships.
Integration really means how can we figure out how to work better together. When we collaborate, both chambers have our greatest successes. The governor came down when both chambers were working together. Just before the holidays, we had our holiday mixer, which had almost 300 people in attendance, which I'm told was the best it's ever been. And it really is just, we've had great success working together, and the integration really is not a merger. A merger implies that one of the two organizations might be weak, but both organizations have very stable, strong memberships. They both have very strong finances. We own a building. They have a little more money in the bank than we do. So there's a variety of ways you can look at this, but both chambers are very strong right now. The importance of the task force really is to look at all of our operations and say, what could we do better together, and how can we make ourselves stronger together? We both, again, I've said it, we have really strong chambers, but there's a lot happening in the community, and it's all about our members. If we work together and we create a better Chamber of Commerce without losing our identities in both the two gateway cities, Fall River and New Bedford, which is a major concern of ours, that we don't want to lose that identity. But it's really got to be in the best interest of all of our members. And we think that we've got the right people in the task force to help us figure that out.
The task force has set a 6-month deadline to make its integration recommendations. The United Way of Greater Fall River has a new executive director. Kimberly Smith has taken over the reins following the retirement of former head Bob Horn after decades of service. The agency provides funding to a variety of health and human service agencies that support the community. We asked Smith how she plans to uphold that mission.
Well, I've only been here since October 1st in the position of executive director, but as you said, not new to the area. Born and raised in Fall River, and really have been committed to giving back and making sure that we rise above and create a great place to live, work, and play for everyone. And so that really is the vision of the United Way, to focus on the issues at hand to help with education, health, and financial literacy. Those are our sort of three main areas, but really envisioning a future where we're always a voice at the table, we're top of mind, folks understand how we can help and impact the primary issues that are in the city, but also those things that we can celebrate as well in building collaborative relationships, breaking down silos, not duplicating effort, things of that nature. And we have a super awesome team here that is ready to roll into 2019. Here we are. And really be a powerful force in the city, as we have been.
We'll have more FRC Media News after this.
Hi, welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. Today we have Nani. She is about 2 years old and she's a pit bull. She was a stray. She does like to play. She definitely needs to keep busy. She is vocal. Very, very, very playful. I would say she would do better with older children. And with dogs, she does do good with dogs. I would just take it as slow introductions. So come down and meet Nani at Riverport. She really wants to play with you. We're located at 300 Linwood Street, Fall River, Massachusetts.
Today we have Pandora. Pandora here is just over 3 years old. As you can tell, she's a very sweet little cat. She loves attention. Anytime we come in this room, she's the first one up meowing at us. She came here as an owner surrender originally. Sadly, they couldn't keep her. She actually came with another cat, her sibling, also 3 years old. But her sibling has since gone home, so she's kind of bonded to Blythe, who's actually behind her there. The two kind of pal around up here. So not only would she make a good, loving cat, single cat, but if you have one of your own, she would meld very well with them. Yeah, and as you can tell, she's just sweet. She just soaks up the love. So if you want to come down and soak up some of her love, you can come down to 300 Linwood Street in Fall River, Massachusetts at Forever Paws Animal Shelter.
Finally this week, if you made a New Year's resolution to eat better in 2019, here's a suggestion on how to turn that resolution into a reality.
Getting ready for our New Year's resolutions, New Year's promises that we can make and break every year. And what I'm looking to do this year is just continue life for what it is. Eat healthy, eat what you want, within moderation. Cut down the carbs, and that's hard to say from a pastry chef, but eat good carbs if you're going to eat it. If you're going to eat a chocolate cake, make it, eat it, but also have all your fruit and your vegetables and the proteins that you need for every day.
So obviously be realistic.
Yeah, we have to be realistic on what we eat, because you can't say, I'm never going to eat that again, because that'll automatically make you want to eat it. I eat chocolate every single day because that's my wine that people like to have at night. That's my little pleasure. So we have to have our guilty pleasures and things that make us happy, you know, so you can have your glass of wine, you can have your chocolate, you can have your piece of cake or cookie. Don't eat the box, but eat a good one. And if you go out to eat, we usually do, my husband and I usually split a meal. We'll get a salad and one meal, and we split it, and it's more than enough. Or I will order my meal, and I'll cut it right at the beginning, I'll ask for a box to go. Right now, I'll be cutting half my calories right off the bat, and I'll still enjoy a few French fries with my hamburger or a soup with a piece of bread, but I don't have to eat the whole thing. and you'll feel so much better. And 20 minutes later you'll be full and you'll say, oh, I'm not over full, I'm happy, and I can always have the same thing tomorrow.
That's it for this edition of FRC Media News. You can watch FRC Media News Thursdays and Fridays at 6 p.m. and you can join us online at frcmedianews.org. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great week. We'll see you next Thursday.